Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Strong Woman's Network podcast. This is Carla Michelle, and I'm your host today. And I would love for you to subscribe, hit that subscribe, and give us 5 stars. And we would love to have you follow us, and you get all the alerts of the new episodes that are dropping. You can also follow me on Instagram at Miss Carla Michelle, and I will look for you there. Today we have a special guest. Yes, yes, yes. She's a business owner, a beauty and lifestyle influencer, a mom, a wife, just a total badass. And you know what her name is? Her name is Nazanin Kavari. Naz, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And for those of us who are listening that do not know you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
I feel like I'm presenting to the class on the first day of school.
You are, girl.
So I'm a beauty and lifestyle influencer. I share all of my beauty and fashion, lifestyle tips and tricks, and a lot of vlogs showing my daily life with my husband and my baby.
Mm.
Um, I also love to cook. I love to read. I love Grey's Anatomy. What are some other things about me? I love to eat. I like long walks on the beach.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
I love it.
but
I love it. I love it. You just came out, and I'm open if you hear me crinkling around. You have a new brush line. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
So I collabed with BH Cosmetics on a brush set. So this was very special to me because this was the first time I collabed with a beauty brand. That's definitely a big goal for a lot of beauty influencers. And for me, I felt for a long time, I just felt like it was never going to happen because I've been doing this for so long and I've seen so many of my peers, collab with brands. And I'm like, when is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my time to shine? And
Mm,
finally, you know what they say, like good things come to those who wait. And I feel like this launch was just so successful. All of my followers loved it. They loved the
yeah.
product. They loved the pictures. They loved the brand. Just, it was everything I could ever wanted.
Oh, you rocked it too. And you know what? I like the touch of the green. Is that the like a green eyeshadow line? Am I misrepresenting what you the beauty
The
that you did?
eyeliner in the
Yes.
photos.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah, the
that.
eyeliner.
I loved it. And you guys, if
Thank
you
you.
have to go see her. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Thank
And
you so
that
much.
just it's just perfect. And you should I'm gosh, I mean, I just got the opportunity to meet you recently, and what a story you have because you started at 14.
Yeah.
14 people. Tell us about how at 14 you decided to do this.
So when I started, YouTube is definitely not what it is today. Now it's like, pretty much everybody has a YouTube channel, but back
Hmm.
when I started, it definitely was not a popular thing. When I started, it was like the Michelle Phan, Juicy Star '07 era. I'm not sure if you know of them,
It's okay.
but they
Keep
were
going.
like, yeah, but they were like the pioneers of
Okay.
being like they walked so we can run. Like they basically created this whole industry of becoming an influencer. And it's so amazing because it makes it so achievable for the everyday person to have a platform, have a following. Like before YouTube, in my opinion, it's like you had to be a celebrity to get your voice to be
Mm,
heard. And now with YouTube and Instagram and social media, it's like everybody has that chance now to have a following and have a community. And it's so amazing. But when I first started, so again, I would just come home from school and I would just watch these girls. And definitely beauty standards back then are nothing as what they are today. Like you could get like a cheap little Wet and Wild eyeshadow palette and do a like tutorial using one of the colors and you would get like a million views. It was so much different than what it is today. Um, so I'd watch all these girls and I love their videos so much. Like literally, I'd come home from school from like 3 p.m. until 9 p.m. I'd just watch these
mm,
videos.
mm.
And I've always been a very confident person.
Good.
I swear, I had the confidence of the world when I was younger. And I was like, you know what? What makes me different than these girls? I could do this too.
Amen.
And so I started just filming. Back then, you didn't have to have the best equipment. I had like the iPhone 4 at the time.
Hmm.
And I just started filming, and slowly, it just created a community and a fan base. And it definitely was slow for me. I wasn't one of those people that gained a million followers like overnight. It was slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
But um, It was really amazing. I mean, I got into makeup because I had really bad acne growing up. I had very severe acne, and that is what got me into makeup. Like the number one thing I wanted was like, how can I cover this up?
Hmm.
And I started out with like foundation and powder and concealer and that stuff. So in a way, I'm thankful for the fact that I have acne because it opened this door for me. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't have gone into makeup if it wasn't
Yeah.
for that.
Isn't that something that's so cool that you would even tap that into being grateful for acne? But but
Yeah.
hey, that's what helped you, find us answer to a problem
Yeah.
and to help others with the same thing. Because at 14, I know I had those little small bumps everywhere, and
Yeah.
and some people just have severe acne, and just to know that you were offering an answer, and I think that's a lot of people miss, that they may have an answer for just one person out there, and so you shouldn't hold back your gift or talent or your curiosity because you
Exactly.
didn't.
Exactly. I could have been like, oh, like I have too much acne to put myself on camera. Like I'm too
Mm.
ugly for this. Like, I could have easily had a million excuses in the book. But if I would have just done that, I would not be where I am today.
Did you ever doubt yourself, at the beginning? And if so, how'd you overcome it?
Well, it's just when I started, it was just so different. I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking about money and followers that heavily because, again, it just wasn't that popular of a thing. I think if I started now, I would have doubted myself a lot more just because so many people, like it's such a
Mm.
saturated industry now. But I think just back in the day, I really just did it out of fun. Like it was something I really enjoyed. I've
Mm.
always been passionate about beauty and, sharing my tips and tricks. And I've always been into like technology and cameras and computers and, things like that. So,
I love it.
yeah, so I think because I just did it just as a hobby, there wasn't a lot of pressure. It wasn't until I think I hit about like 11th grade, that's
Mhm.
when YouTube really started to take off. And that's when I was able to make it a career.
At the 11th grade, so
Yeah,
that
I was a
means you're
junior.
like, how old? 17?
Yeah, I was 16 going on 17,
And
11th grade.
then all of a sudden it's a career.
It
Oh my
is.
God, that's great. So tell me how you transition. I mean, how did it become a career? I know maybe some people don't know what you mean by that. So could you explain that? Do you
So
mind?
around that time, that's when a lot of brands shifted from doing traditional media, like, advertisements and magazines and commercials. That's when they kind of shifted onto digital marketing.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's when brands started heavily reaching out for sponsorships and, we want to pay you to show our products in the video. We want to pay you to show our products on Instagram. Before that, I really was only getting paid on Google AdSense. And it wasn't until I started hitting like a decent amount of views, that's when I actually started getting paid from YouTube. Like for my first 3 years on YouTube, I did not make a cent. Like it wasn't until a good amount of time went by, and I think I made $50 for my
Hmm.
first sponsorship ever. And I was like, I'm rich. Like, sorry, mom and dad.
I
Like,
don't need you anymore.
y'all can't tell me nothing.
I
Um,
love it.
but yeah, I think that's when it like first started, and then $50 started becoming $200 for a video. Then
Mm.
$200 became $1,000 for a video. Like that's how it started just
Mm.
elevating as my followers went up and as my content, my what's the word? The quality started going up, and that's when brands started reaching out. I got a manager at that time. BeautyCon became a thing that year. I
Mm.
think
Yeah.
BeautyCon started out, and the story behind BeautyCon is really funny. So, I literally told my parents I was like 16 years old, and I told my parents I was going to BeautyCon. Mind you, I'm from Ohio, so I was like,
Oh,
I didn't ask for permission. I was like, hey guys, I'm flying to LA next week to go to BeautyCon. They're like, wait, what?
what?
I literally
Oh
took my
no.
debit card, I booked a ticket, and I literally flew to LA by myself, and I went to BeautyCon.
Wow. Because you had a
Which
career.
I
So,
did, but the thing is, I think a lot of people find that crazy, but I grew up a lot different because my parents are immigrants, and I feel like this is a theme with like children who are immigrants. I feel like we grow up a lot faster. So just from a young age, I just feel like
yeah.
I was super independent. Like I was like making my own doctor's appointments by the time I was like 10. So
Oh,
it wasn't like my parents did raise me to be very
yeah.
independent. So
Wow. So, wow, that's great. So at 10, if you're making your own appointments, so making your own flight was nothing, basically,
right.
right? And so you
Yeah,
traveled by yourself, or
I did.
and your parents like, okay.
So I had a
Be
friend.
safe. Okay.
So I
Okay.
had a friend who was also going to BeautyCon whose mom, she was 16 too, and her mom was coming with her.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, but my mom, like my parents didn't know her mom or anything. I was like, hey, I'm staying with my friend and her mom in this hotel in Hollywood.
You're just
So
running stuff.
bye.
You're just running
Literally, my
stuff
parents,
now.
they're trying to talk me out of it, but the thing is, it's like
Mm.
I love my parents so much because they really did support me. My mom, not as much as first at first because she's very conservative, but they really did open up to and they really support what I do now.
So you're basically living what we have learned as the American dream of
Yes,
coming here with parents who are immigrants, and then you having the opportunity to branch out in something that maybe you couldn't do back home the same way.
100%.
Yeah, wow. So now how do your parents view you?
My
Have-
parents are so proud of me, and it's
I
the most
know.
amazing feeling to make your parents feel so proud.
Mm.
Especially, I mean, all the money and followers aside, they're just so happy to have a grandson now.
Who is
Yeah. Yeah,
adorable.
so
You
that's their first grandson and their first
oh,
grandkid. So, I mean, they just love him so much
like
and
forget all that influence stuff. Give us a
right,
grandbaby. I love it.
right. They're just so happy to have their grandson. I mean, it just sucks because again, they still live in Ohio, but they
Oh,
do
okay.
try their best to come out and visit.
Oh, wow. Look at that. And so then what made you branch out as a business owner? Because influencer and then career is like you're doing the videos and you're upgrading the content and
Yeah.
and your technology. But when did you feel like I'm a business owner?
So I honestly, I'm never satisfied, which I feel like is a good thing and a bad thing
Okay.
because I feel like I can be such a perfectionist and be so hard on myself, but at the same time, I achieve something, I'm like, okay, what's next? Like I'm always setting goals for myself. I never like to feel comfortable. I always want to challenge myself. So for me, I'm like, I think what really opened my eyes was doing my brand sponsorships. And I see how much money I make for these brands. And I'm like, I can be making this money for my own brand. Like
There you go.
I can be making all these sales for my own brand. Like,
There
why
you
wouldn't I do that?
go.
You know? And I think that was a thing that kind of opened my eyes. But all money aside, it's just I come from a family that's all about business. Like my parents own a restaurant. My dad also, we own a few properties in Columbus. Like that's always my dad always instilled in me as a really young child, like entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
ownership. You know, he always like instilled that in me. My dad never wanted to work for anybody else. And I
Hmm.
feel like he just instilled that in all my siblings and I really young. And I've just always had a business mentality.
Wow. So,
Hmm.
I have, a large age group that listens to this podcast, but if someone that's 14 listens to this, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to, I know it sounds cheesy, but just literally never give up. And
Okay.
don't ever say that you shouldn't do something because other people are doing it. Because I always say, like, if Rihanna didn't start a makeup line because everybody has a makeup line or so many makeup line exists already, she completely shifted the industry. You know, like now brands know like a bare minimum is to have this big of a shade range. Like I feel like before Fenty Beauty, we had such a limited selection of like darker skin
Mm-hmm.
shades in store. She
So true.
literally like shifted the whole standard.
Yeah.
And it's not just her, like if Kim decided that Spanx already existed and she didn't create Skims, like Skims is like a multi-million dollar empire, you know? And
Just like
even them
that.
aside, you know, it's just there's always room for you and in whatever you're passionate about. I feel like if you just continue doing it, um, and just never giving up, like you will succeed. I'm
Mm.
a big believer in manifestation.
Yes. So well, I mean, obviously we're seeing the results. And maybe obvious, I shouldn't say obviously because there's some listeners who, don't know about how great YouTubing is and being an
Yeah,
influencer. So you started with, let me just bring it home. You started with how many followers, say at
zero.
zero. Okay, you went from
Zero.
zero to where are you now?
So I have over 1 million on YouTube and then Instagram I'm about at like 860K,
So close to,
somewhere around the line.
yeah.
On TikTok, like a good 250. And it's just crazy because you can look at these numbers and be like, well, you're not at like celebrity level. It's not like I have millions and millions of followers, but even just having, you can make such a big impact.
Hmm.
it doesn't even matter like how many followers you have. I feel like nowadays everybody, that's the beauty of social media. It's like everybody has the opportunity to make it.
Make their impact the way they want
Yeah,
to, and that's all you did. Is you didn't, you, like you said, you were, it wasn't about followers. It was
it
just,
wasn't.
it
And
was
I think
your,
that's
go
why
ahead.
it's successful. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you, but
no,
I feel
no,
like
you're
that's
good.
why, thank you. I feel like that's why I my career is successful where it is because I wasn't worried about, getting a million views per video and
Yeah.
being not like not genuine to myself. And I feel like a lot of people who started when they were 14, a lot of times their like brand and their channel kind of fizzles out. But I feel like because again, I just stayed very true to myself and I didn't care for to be clickbaiting and things like that. I really feel like that's why I've seen success in the long term.
That's good. So how do you deal with, what advice would you give someone who is doing the comparison thing? Like they see a Nas,
Yes.
and they're like, "Oh gosh, but she's doing this and she has the cutest baby on earth and her husband is so nice and why should I even try?" I mean, what would you tell someone like that?
See, like they could be viewing me that way, but I could be viewing other people that way. I can be like,
Mm,
well, I can look at like Kylie Jenner and be like, well, I'm not jet setting and going to a different country every day and having millions of dollars under my belt.
not
And
yet.
then, yeah, I mean, yeah, but I could easily be thinking like that over a
Yeah.
ton of other people on the internet. And also, I always say like comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh,
There,
there.
there will
Say that
always be
again. One more
someone,
time,
right?
Nas. Say that again. You
Comparison
preaching,
is the
girl.
thief of joy.
There you
There's
go.
always, I always say, there's always going to be someone prettier than you. There's always going to be someone smarter than you. There's always going to be someone who has more money than you, but they will never be you. So you should just focus on
Mm,
yourself because if you don't focus on yourself, trust me, you'll be miserable. And I
mm,
feel like that's a lot of times, and I feel like that debate comes with social media. Like social media can be so toxic, but I'm like, why view it that way? I view social media in such a positive light because you can really curate your timeline specifically for you. Stop following the girls that make you feel miserable. Stop
whoa.
following the girls that make you feel that your body isn't good enough, or you can easily unfollow them, block them, and follow the people that inspire you. And I think that's the beauty of social media. I see so many successful women across the board of so many different skin tones, so many different body shapes, so it's like really
Hmm.
just curate your pages for you. That's the most amazing thing.
That's some good advice. You should be a teacher.
Thank you.
I
I do.
think
I love giving advice. I really do.
so. We got a YouTube channel where Nas's advice. We got to call, what can we do? We'll have to think of a tag because you've given great advice, and I'm sure there's people of all age ranges, all nationalities that would learn from your wisdom because, starting at 14 and, 7 years later, you're still going and you didn't
Yeah,
stop, you didn't give up, you learned a lot. I'm sure you've been hurt by
I
social
have.
media and, you got to keep going. So being hurt and still going, are you able to understand what other people go through with being hurt easier because of that, when they're doing the social media thing?
I definitely think so. I mean, I was on social media at, again, 14, and think about any teenage girl at that age,
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, 17. Like we're already insecure as it is in our own body, and imagine I'm on display for thousands of people to nitpick me apart. And that's the thing. It's like I remember coming home from school one day. I was really like 16 years old, and there was one of my first interviews ever. I was on beauty. It was on the red carpet at BeautyCon, and this was before I got my breast lift surgery. And the comment section was all like, "Her boobs are so saggy. Her boobs are so saggy." Imagine being like 16,
Oh,
17 years old and seeing that. Like you
oh,
would cry if a boy at school said that to you, let alone thousands of people on the internet. And I remember just crying and crying. And I remember that day I was like, I'm never gonna let people make me feel that way again. Like, who are these people? My sister would always tell me a lion doesn't what is it? A lion doesn't sleep over the opinions of a sheep. I can't think of it exactly,
that sounds good
but
though.
I'm like, are you doing an interview on a red carpet? No. You're
Hey.
sitting in your bedroom, like not you probably have to drive to McDonald's for free Wi-Fi, like to sit here and leave a hate comment. Like, girl, bye. Like, I don't even care anymore. That's what I view myself. I'm
I
like, if
love
you are doing better than me, you would not have the time to sit here and write your 2 cents over, Like, why
I
are you worried about my boobs?
why? Yeah, yeah. Stop rewinding the tape and watching them over and over again.
Exactly.
It sounds like
Right.
you're the one with the problem. But I love that. I love that you rewrote that you rewrote the narrative is something that we say in therapy is like you had something come at you, but you turned it around to where it's like, wait, it's not my problem, it's their problem. They
Yeah.
have an issue.
I've really learned over the years is you will never please anyone. Like there'll all be you could be the juiciest peach, but there'll be someone who doesn't like peaches. And I think that's like the most important
Mm,
thing to realize. Like you can't please everybody, no matter how hard you try. And
yeah.
I'm a people pleaser. Like I want people, it's human instinct to want people to like you. That's why I hate
Yeah.
when people try to make you feel bad when you want people to like you. Like it's human nature.
Oh,
But there'll always be someone, like no matter what you say, they're just gonna demonize you and they're gonna view you in a negative way. And that's that. You just
I,
gotta accept it.
and that is like you said, you were given a world of confidence as a young girl at 14 doing
Hmm.
that, and it sounds like it's still running with you now, just to be confident, and you have to keep going. So let's talk about your launch with your brushes. How nervous were you?
Oh my gosh, so nervous. Because you could be working so hard on something and then you release it in a matter of seconds, people will rip it apart and make you feel so terrible. But I was just very happy with the response. I mean, I also partnered with a really credible brand. This was a brand I was using for years.
Hmm.
And I love BH because they're an affordable brand. Like my brush set is only $27 for 9 brushes. And I feel like,
Oh gosh, that's great.
especially, yeah, especially during like this time, it was something very achievable for a lot of people to purchase, which made me really happy. And also like BH just holds a really special place in my heart because when I started doing makeup in high school, I was like a makeup artist. I would do makeup for girls for like prom and school dances and I'd charge like $20 or something like that. But you know, like as a makeup artist, you need like a bunch of shades. You need a bunch of foundation colors, concealers. And the thing about BH is I could buy like 12 foundations for a really good price. So that's why I love BH. Like they've always just like been there for me from the beginning.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, like everybody loved it and it just makes me so happy. Like we sold out on the first day and
Yay.
then for my relaunch, it's gonna be out next week, but we already have like 2,000 people signed up for the relaunch
Mm.
and we only have 1,500 units coming out. Like I'm like, this is crazy.
Awesome. I mean, do you
Yeah.
know that is awesome? That's a great problem. I mean, it is a problem and it is, nerve-wracking, I'm sure, but in a good way because it's well received and the price point is perfect. Like you said, for 9 brushes, sometimes
Hmm.
you're getting one brush and probably a
Yeah.
little one, a little like eyeliner type thing going. But I think that's so good. So tell me this. You are a mom.
Yes.
We got to talk about this. Now, how old is the baby?
He's 5.5 months. Yeah, 5.5.
And I'm going to pause you there. So, you are spearheading a brush launch, pregnant. Okay, I just want to put that out there for the listeners. Okay, now go. You're a mom.
Okay. It's crazy because I feel like I was more productive pregnant than I am now. Like me, second trimester Nas was like superwoman.
Oh,
I was I was working sunrise to sunset. Like I think I was also nesting too. Like I was cleaning everything. We moved into our house too when I was 7 months pregnant, our new house. I don't know where I got this energy from.
where
Like I don't
did
know where that
you?
energy went.
I love it. It's gone now?
Uh, I've been getting back into the swing of things now, but I definitely went through a lazy phase. Like all
I
I
don't.
want to do, I mean, my
Mhm.
son is so cute. All I want to do is just like cuddle him all day. Like I don't want to do anything but cuddle.
I mean, he's cute. He's adorable, and he's sweet, and he's so peaceful, and he's just
He is.
happy. He's
He
just
is.
great. So, did you have a easy pregnancy? You're gonna do it again, kind of pregnancy?
Yeah,
How was
knock
it?
on wood, knock on wood. I had such a smooth pregnancy.
Good.
I'm just so lucky. I mean, I was really active during my pregnancy. I pushed him on 30 minutes, and he was a big baby. He was almost 9 pounds.
And you pushed only for 30 minutes.
30 minutes. He
You're
was my first two. I don't know. Like, and he was born at such an amazing time, 5:55 a.m. It's like angel numbers.
yes, and he's
He's such a
so
sweet
sweet. He
baby.
is. I mean, I'm so co-signing on that. Having the opportunity to be around him, and he just let me hold him, and just, oh my
Yeah.
God, he's a
He's
sweetie.
so sweet.
So
It's that Pisces energy, like justice. My
Justice
own little
was
Pisces.
Justice was sweet. He was a demanding little baby, but he was sweet. He was, and he's still sweet. He's still, I
Yeah.
mean, tell that he's really a sweet boy. So tell me about what has changed you since you're a mom.
I think I stopped letting the little things get to me as much. Like I could be
Mhm.
having a bad day and then I just look at my son and instantly I'm just like, that really does not matter. Like my son is healthy, my son is happy. I know that's really corny, but like when
No.
parents, before you become a parent, you hear people say that, like my son is my world. It's like, okay, whatever. But no, when you actually like have your own child, you really
Mhm.
realize like, wow, I created this human being. Like even if I don't achieve anything else today, just the fact that he's fed, he's happy is all that matters.
Yeah. It gives you a perspective of
It
what
does.
really is important. Because
I
there's,
definitely
go
needed
ahead.
that.
You needed that?
I did. I really feel like because we weren't planning on having a baby. Like, I mean, I don't want to say he was an accident, but he was an accident. And I really feel like he was my biggest blessing. Like, I needed him because,
Mm.
especially with this industry, it's so easy to just get swept away with the money and the fame and drama and this and the numbers. Like, did I get enough likes? Did I get enough views? But, like, he really just put life into perspective for me. Like, nothing else matters but this little boy to me,
That's great. And he's so sweet. So you did well. So if you have another one, I
for
mean,
sure.
yeah, that's going to be great. So you mentioned, you said the stuff and going places. I'm paraphrasing what you said. How is it when you go out, and are you able to relax and just enjoy your time, or because of where I don't know I know where you live, but the area where you live, are you bothered? Not bothered. That's not a good word. Are followers around? How about that? Are followers
I definitely do meet a lot of subscribers when I'm out and about.
mhm.
Um, in a way, it does make me feel, I mean, I'm definitely not like Rihanna level or anything, but
Yeah.
in a way, I feel like I can't just leave the house looking like a bum because I have a few times and then
Oh,
someone comes
yeah.
up to me and asks for a picture and I don't want to be rude and be like, no, like I don't look cute. So I feel like I always have to be like a certain amount of ready. I've only
Yeah.
said no to a picture once in my life, and that was because I was 9 months pregnant at this ice cream shop by my house down the street, and I just wanted to get my ice cream and leave. But I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I really just, I can't. Like, I was like so fed up with being pregnant. Like, um,
9 months, yeah, and a big
yeah,
baby,
that's why
and
a
you
lot of
just
times, that's why a lot of times I'm like, let's take a selfie and use a filter.
yeah. But
Literally.
that's great though. But see, so you do have to kind of. What is your self-care routine like? How do you take a break
Um,
for you?
I think for me, I mean, I love just like watching Grey's Anatomy lately. That's
Oh,
been
that's
my
what you
my
said.
relaxation.
Hmm.
So that's like I can't wait to just be done with like work, baby's down, and I just like shower and just watch Grey's Anatomy. That's definitely very relaxing for me. And cleaning is also very relaxing to me too. Like that's like my nightly routine is I like go downstairs and I clean. Um, it's a productive, like relaxing thing, but I love just like organizing and cleaning. That's
Hmm.
definitely relaxing for me too.
You know what? I could agree with that because I like to wake up to a clean house.
Yeah, I just think about like it's like a weight off your shoulders, you know?
Yeah. So wait till little man starts, like my kids are grown, as you know. So when they're here, you could go to sleep with the kitchen clean, but you could wake up and it's a whole
I
nother
know,
story.
I
So,
know.
but it is relaxing to have that, and I so agree, with that opportunity. So you got cleaning, you got Grey's Anatomy, you like to take walks by the beach. That's funny. But we have to mention you're a wife, so I'm
Yes,
sure you have date night.
we
And
do.
do you recommend date night for the married folks out there?
100%. I mean, you got to keep the spark alive. I mean, granted, we've only been married for like a year and 2 years. No, wait,
Uh-huh.
when did we get married? No, we only been married for like a year and a half. It feels like a lifetime, but
But
I
you've
think
known
that's
him
very
a
important.
long time.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a long time. Because like we got married and I got pregnant 3 months later. So I feel like we've been together for like a million years when we've only been together for we've been married for a year and a half. But for me, I think it's very important to just, have that alone time with your significant other.
Hmm.
We have a few date nights coming up. It's definitely harder with a baby, but luckily I have my sister who lives in the same city as me, so she can come, watch him. Um,
Oh, that's
but yeah,
helpful.
you gotta keep the spark alive. But we love chilling too. Like as much as we love, I mean, it's harder with quarantine, But our favorite thing is like going to the movies. Like I know a lot of people don't like going to the movies
Yeah.
anymore. You can rent them at home, but we love the like actually going to the theater, buying the popcorn, all that jazz. We love that.
Yeah. I'm so for that because I love I'll go by myself. I don't,
My husband goes by himself
he
too. He's one of
can't
those people.
smell like that, but
Yeah.
I think it's kind, other than it's a little weird when I start laughing because I have no one to turn to, like going, that is so funny. I just laugh and look weird, but I don't
What's your
mind.
zodiac sign?
Sagittarius.
I am a Sagittarius.
When's your birthday?
December 7th.
Oh, we're so close. I'm November 29th. Joelle is December 10th.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why you're cool.
You and your daughter, do you guys bump heads being both Sagittariuses?
We know we can read each other. We know how we are. No, no, we're good. We don't bump heads in a way like we don't get along. We bump heads as mother and daughter, but
Yeah.
not because of we're so much alike. Our lives are almost alike, like the jobs we've had, the
Uh-huh.
situations we've dealt with, and yeah, it's like me in a way,
I can't have a daughter. I want my daughter to be my mini me so bad.
Oh yeah, you know what? You got to keep having me. I got too many me's. But
Yeah, I
and
want three total. So two
you're
more.
gonna love it. And when you see there's some things you like, don't be like mom in that. But then there's the things that you go like, oh my gosh, that's so cool that they picked up those traits, or just to have a girl to go and hang out with. I love my boys,
Yeah. I want
but
like nail appointments and like
yeah, tea. We
talk
used to
about
do tea.
toys and like, all that stuff.
Yes, my sex talks with my girls are hilarious. I mean, they're straight. I'm like, you're a butterfly, and don't let anyone catch you. And so that
See,
just
like I want to be like that with my daughters, like have really open dialogue. I mean, my me and my mom don't really talk about that stuff, so I'm like
yeah.
excited to have that with like my daughter. We can be like really close. But I don't want us to be too close to the point where they don't respect me. Like it needs to be like a good,
Yeah, balance.
a good balance.
And I think that's what I think I don't think I know. That was my thing because my mom was probably more like your mom. It was just
Hmm.
very, I'm your mom. That was it. I'm not your
Yeah.
friend. She would even say that. I'm not your friend. I'm like, okay, dang. But with my kids, it was important that I wanted them to talk to me. And
Uh-huh.
how are they going to talk to me if they can't relate to me? And
Yeah.
not that I tell them my business, but they know who I am. They
Yeah.
know that, oh yeah, I've dealt with that. If something comes up, oh, I remember that, or things have happened in my life that I openly will share with them as they're older so they can see where I'm coming from in our conversations. And so they trust me with their stories because I've trusted them with my
Yeah. I get
stories.
that.
Yeah, so it's good. I sometimes, they gotta remember you're their mom. I'm their mom, but they always remember. I think that's the respect is always there, Nas. And I think as
Yeah.
long as they know you love them and you're their support and their ally and you're their advocate, you'll always have that respect.
Yeah.
You'll
I feel like
always have.
every girl though goes through that my mom's so annoying phase. I always tell my mom it
Oh
wasn't until
gosh, me too.
I really became a mom myself. Like I view my mom in such a different way. Like my mom, like she's a great mother. I love her so much. But I think it's just the way she grew up. Like she grew up in the Middle East, very conservative. She got married at 17. Like her life was just so different. Like she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
going to club. My mom has never been inside of a club.
You
She's
gotta
never
take
had a
her,
sip of
Nas.
alcohol. She would hate it. She's never had a sip of alcohol. Like her life is just so much more different than mine. Like dating
Mm.
wasn't a thing, but it's like now that I became a mother, like I see, like it's just I view her in such a different way. She's such a strong woman. Like I couldn't imagine the life that she went through, and moving from the Middle East to America. Like that's such a big culture shock without her family, without her sisters. Like
Wow.
she's such a strong woman, and I didn't. And then like when they moved to America, it's not like overseas where the woman just stays home. Like my mom went they opened the restaurant. She was working day to night. Like
Wow,
my
yeah.
mom is such a hard worker. And then she would come home and clean the house. Like when does she sleep? Like I just view her in such a different way now.
So you see it and then you're almost like her in that sense.
I'm literally my mother. I
Yeah.
literally am her.
Yeah. And that's a
Uh,
good thing. Sometimes, I mean, my mom and it was rough for a while in the teenage years. But yeah, it's some beautiful things that we can pick up from our mothers or
Yeah.
and our fathers, that we take on. Especially, I think about you and the business mindset. So you seeing your parents, um, the work that they put in, because a lot of people do not want to work at what they want.
Yeah.
And you saw that. I mean, and that's, I think, how
Handouts.
you've made, go ahead.
I mean, a lot of people just want handouts. Like they want it ready for them
Yeah.
and they just like they don't want to build something from the ground up.
No, it's too much. They think it's too much, but yet that's the thing I always like to tell my clients. It's like it's the foundation that helps you go as high as you want to go. If you don't have a foundation, if you don't have deep roots, stuff will come at you and blow you right out of the scene. You won't make it. So go
Exactly.
through the process. I think you even said that it seemed like it took so long, and you asked the question, when is my time? So it was perfect, you said, when it finally came. And
And it was
I
the right time.
it's the right time where you could handle everything that's coming your way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's,
100%.
yeah, so it's like people people really have to not try to rush the the timing, because it's that it happens, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. But at the
So
same time,
go
I
ahead.
feel like nowadays we like romanticize and like glamorize being a entrepreneur, business owner, homeowner,
Oh,
but it really isn't for
it,
everybody, and that's okay. And that's okay. I
that's
feel like
okay.
I feel like on Twitter I see like people are always like they call it LLC Twitter. Like people
Uh-huh.
are always trying to get people like young people like you need to buy a house. Like stop throwing your money down the drain with renting. Like it really is not for everybody. Like everybody has
Mhm.
their own timeline. Um some people love their 9 to 5. They really thrive on it, and that's completely okay. Like you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to put that struggle on you. It's
Yeah.
not for everybody.
No, and
Hmm.
don't think that being an entrepreneur is easier than working for
Exactly.
someone either, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
more responsibility is on you as the entrepreneur,
Exactly.
because that check is only coming when you drop your video, right? Now it's just like,
Right. But at the same time, like even though I am a business owner and all that stuff, um, I still have a team. Like I have my manager, I have a business accountant, like I have, I guess you could say, employees. I could never do it on my own, you
Mhm.
know?
So how did you handle leadership skills? Because you have to be in charge. I mean, you have to give that, they need to know what your vision is and they have to
Yeah.
carry it out. How did you learn that?
I feel like it was always just instilled in me. Again, I was just taught independence from a really young age.
Hmm.
And I think it just came naturally to me, honestly. I feel like I always just was naturally a leader. Like even in elementary school, if we were doing a group project, I'd instantly like take the wheel and I would like schedule. I'm a very aggressive planner. I mean, you can ask Justice and Kayla and stuff like that, but if they say like let's go on a trip, like I don't take that lightly. Like the next day
We're
you'll have a
going.
list of Airbnbs and dates and
I
an
love it.
itinerary. Literally for my honeymoon, I had an itinerary down to like the minute. It's my
Wow.
Virgo. That's not very Sagittarius of me, but I'm a Virgo rising. So that's
Wow.
it's very Virgo of me. But
Yeah, because I don't think I'm that. I can go there. I can go there now, but you got it.
do you
Yeah.
know your moon and rising signs?
No,
You
I
have to
don't.
look into that because that'll explain a lot.
A
Because
lot of.
I have Sagittarius traits, but I'm
Mhm.
like me being the like type A person I am is not Sagittarius at all. And then when I found out I had Virgo in my chart, I'm like, okay,
Makes sense.
it
And
all
I
makes sense.
I do have some type A, because I with my kids and scheduling and keeping them in track and being
You
able to
need
go
to
to
as a mom.
school. Yeah. And I think, yeah, I think as a mom, I picked up some things more than probably I love like spur of the moment. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we're about to go out of town, like today? Yeah, let's go,
Uh-huh.
Now
That's the Sag.
I still take care of business, but I'm going out of town, we're still,
Yeah.
so I kind of like that. Do not lock me in. If you give me a too much rules, I'm not happy. I no,
Mm-hmm.
just don't tell me it's a rule. Just
Yeah.
you know,
Because
those
instantly it makes us want to do it.
what did you say?
It makes us want to do it more, knowing
Yeah.
that we're not allowed to.
Yeah. Okay, that's me too. And let me find out things on my own. Like, I'll
Yeah.
listen to you, but let me try it. And I think that my
Uh-huh.
daughter has a lot of that. I want to touch back on, you said comparison is the thief of joy, and that is so key. So
Mm-hmm.
as we wind this down, is there any more like drops of gold nugget drops of wisdom that you can share with the listeners? You said another one with the lion. You think it says a sleeping lion doesn't worry about. Anyway, I was trying to help it, but
I can't, I have to ask my sister. Like I have it in my head, I just can't say it. I don't know what it is. Like, and then there's also another one, like
okay.
a what is it? Like a eagle doesn't pick from the same thing as a crow. I don't know. Like it's
Hmm.
something along those lines. There's all these little fortune cookie sayings that I just can't think of right now.
Well, I
But
love it. But what other wisdom can you drop to the listeners
what
before
other
we close?
wisdom?
In your life, what you've learned, anything that could help somebody.
Just just treat every day like a new day. Don't dwell on the past. Because I'm a
Oh, that's
dweller. I
good.
can really dwell and just feel bad for myself. And I think my husband really opened my eyes because he's always like, I'm giving you one day to mope. You have one day to be sad, one day to mope, and then after that, I don't want to see it anymore. And I feel like that is what I really instilled is I'm giving myself like a day to be upset, but like you just got to keep moving. Like life is
Yeah,
still going on.
that's good. And it's so true. Give
Hmm.
in planning it, planning your moping or planning your sadness or
I
whatever is
know.
happening is key because then
Right.
you can go all out, you know. Well, I got 24 hours. Here I go. I'm about to get
Right. Like
chocolate
I
chip
can
cookies.
cry and
Yes.
complain, you
and
know.
and then you got it out, and then the next day it's like, wow, I got it all out yesterday. I can
Yeah.
keep going. Gosh, this is
Hmm.
great, Nas. Thank you for your time.
Thank
where
you.
where could people follow you or reach out? Well, follow you, we'll say it that way. Where can they find you?
So my YouTube channel is just my name, Nazanin Kavari. And then my social handles are all the same across the board, just Nazanin Kavari. If you type in NAZ, I'll probably come up.
Okay, I love
But
it.
yeah,
And I'll put that in the show notes, listeners. If you want to reach out and follow her and click subscribe, that'd be great. Help
I
her get
love
to
that. You're
a
always welcome.
100 million followers and and get these brushes, great price. Get on that list and order some. And she also has a YouTube tutorial of how to use her brushes, so check that out. Nas, the business owner, the mom, the beauty and lifestyle influencer, the wife, the beautiful, kind, sweet, thoughtful, on
Oh,
point
thank you
Nas.
so much.
Thank
You're
you.
making me blush.
Ah! Well, it's true. No lie, no lie. So thank you so much for your time. And listeners, hit Nas up and let her know you enjoyed this. Okay, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Nas.
Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.